If you had to pick one tree to grow in your garden, what would that tree be? Let me show you what my favourite tree is. Something that looks amazing in the summer, that gives off the most amazing blossom, that has all sorts of medicinal uses and tastes gorgeous. Let me show you. We have 5 and I need to know how to look after them properly. So the tree we're talking about is the elder tree, and we have 5 of these and they are growing on our front wall of our house. So we have one here which is very much covered in ivy. I want to take back maybe quite a lot of the branches on that, let the new growth come for the spring. Just looking there now, we actually have a small little shoot there as well. Actually there's more, there's 1, 2, 3. I kind of thought that was like all one, but it might actually be all one. This one, which you can see we cut here, and automatically then it just throws out what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shoots. So we're going to cut this. We cut this one already, and already look at the growth on it. Massive growth coming back. Really chopped that, wasn't sure it was going to come back, but it's making a comeback. And then this, which is just one big ivy mess. Why is this not? And then there's this, which is just one big ivy mess, which is the one that I really wanted to focus on and try and rid it and just clean it up and really get it looking good for the spring. And then we've got one more which just happens to be on the other side of the yard over here, growing up on this side, and that needs a nice big trim off. All the branches, trim them all back, and hopefully we'll get lots of new shoots coming and just a stronger tree. So that's the plan. Rob is here with the chainsaw.
Aggressive pruning.
And off we go. And in a second then I will show you, I've got some pots made up here and we are going to take some cuttings as per what I learnt on my course. Long ago in Ireland, people believed that if a cradle for a baby was made out of the elderflower tree, the baby would be stole by the fairies. Lots of reasons why. It's a very mythical tree and lots of stories about it. Summer officially starts when the elderflower blossom comes out. Everybody knows the smell. It's good for carving, it's good for whittling the wood, and it's antiviral. You can make a antiviral solution or salve out of the leaves. So using the blossom to make teas and elderflower wine and elderflower cordial, it's all very, very good for you and full of vitamin C. The heads and the flowers are used to make tea for sore throats and head colds. Okay, we're just on our way. We're just outside Skibbereen in West Cork. I'm on my way to a workshop for tree cutting and cuttings, in particular the elder tree. And as you know, we have four elder trees behind our house. One enormous one which just gives a massive blossom every year, and then the aroma is amazing. And sort of three small, slightly smaller ones. And the lady in this workshop is going to tell us how to look after them and also how to take cuttings for new trees. So that's where I'm off to this morning. It's at a place called Myros House in Lepp. I'll tell you a bit more about Lepp when we get there. But we're just running along the river here by Skibbereen, and we won't be going through Skibbereen town. We'll just be taking the bypass straight out then to let. So I'll let you know more when we get there. So we're just coming into Lep now. It's a really very pretty little village. Small, well, village really, not really a small town, I don't think. Because it sits at the top of an estuary, and you've got
in 600 meters, sharp right.
600, might be able to show you a little bit of the estuary later on. As you can see, we turn towards the estuary now, and I've never been down here.
Continue for 1 kilometer.
Not this blanketed, dark oak kind of, you know, Narnia that we're kind of, you know, that is the ideal. It's a dynamic landscape with lots of different things. And then when you're taking a cutting, it's a copy of the parent plant. So it's like a clone, let's say. Does anyone here have experience with taking cuttings?
Nope.
Yeah? No? Oh. Okay. So yeah. Now people will say, well, why don't you take the berries from the elders? Well, one is it's hard to get the berries because the birds are really good at getting the berries. Good to also try out every sort of method possible because we're in a crisis, so we need to, and it's interesting, and if especially as well, what I've done here is I have 3 different elders, and I deliberately took from 3 different elders because once they get growing, then they're going to start pollinating, and then we can take the berries off them and make other ones and other cuttings and let the experiment continue. What you want to do is, if you want to see, old growth is, it'll just snap off. See? So that's not good. You want something that's kind of a bit more, you know, and you're not really see, yes, bringing it. And then, I mean, I was at a workshop a couple of weeks back, and this guy had elders, and they were like that thick, and it was just a stick.
Wow.
That thick, and he shoved it in, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, that'll grow. I've seen that grow before, especially here in the place he was giving the workshop. So look, I've been reading different things, but this fella's got years of experience, so I think if the conditions are right, it'll just get on with it anyway. So you want to use a secateurs. There's like so many different kinds of secateurs out there. This is my pride and joy. I look after it, I oil it. I paid about 40 quid for it, but you can buy spare parts. It's called a Felco. You can get them from Fruit Hill Farm. I've got ridiculously tiny hands, and they actually do the regular one in a small size. So I'm always delighted when I see like tools and workwear in small people sizes, or you know. So yeah, what you want to do then is select your. Let's go with this guy here. So we're going to just clip. And then you want to make sure that there's 2 shoots for going, 2 to 1 shoots for going underground, and then you want at least 2 shoots to go at the top.
So 2 under and 2 top.
2 under and 2 plus on top. So yeah, that one looks about right. What I do then is you clip this one. It says in a couple of books, I mean it varies. Sometimes I think at an angle is good because you have more surface area and there's more room for the roots to grow out. But then in other books it says do the bottom flat and do the top at an angle, because then you'll know what's the top and the bottom, especially if you're doing loads.
Oh yeah.
And then if the top is slanted, then the rain can slide off it and it's not going to pool in it. And but I think we can really tell what's the top and the bottom because these guys have started to bud already. So what we might do is do 2 slants. So I'm going to go. So that's actually a little bit dead feeling at the top. So I'm just going to not use that bit there. That's a bit better. See, there's a bit of green in there now.
You could hear it, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go down here like that. So you've got your top and your bottom, and there you go. And what you can do then is, actually I forgot my dibber, but, oh yeah. And then you can do this. It might seem a bit brutal, but this will help to, these might root down here as well actually. I'm not going to hand out the knife because secretaries is enough. So we might just get some roots, and then you're just going to slot it down into your soil.
That's just ordinary soil, it's not compost.
It is this is compost, yeah.
It's just put into compost.
So,
any sort of compost or specific?
yeah, but the best thing, if you're in West Cork, there's a supplier called Fruital Farm, and this is their perennial compost, and that'll be really, really good for this type of perennial herb compost. Be really good for this type of growth. So I've mixed it with a bit of sand just so that there's a bit of good drainage and a bit of circulation. Up in the nursery, I'm going to show you in a second. I've just I'll show you in a second what I've done up there. But if you're doing it on a home scale, I'd mix maybe a small bit of sand, a small bit of soil, just regular soil without, knowing that there's no invasive weeds in there or whatever, and then a bit of this compost.
They're super. God, we'd all like one of these. Great.
This is the tree nursery. Because, believe it or not, young growth likes a bit of shade. It doesn't like to be parched. Well, with woody growth anyway. So a little bit of sun is good, but not too much. So the old tree nursery was at the top of the wall garden, but it's completely unfit. It just dries out, and the trees don't like being baked in the sun. Yeah, good job. And then gently down,
Alright.
yeah. Fab. So we have a little check.
Sorry.
Oaks.
You stick.
So they're lovely and warm in here. So when an oak lands in the forest, it usually, like the leaf, it's then submerged in leaf litter. So it keeps the seed nice and warm, and as the leaf litter breaks down, it provides the perfect growing conditions for the oak. So let's see if we're in here. And you can make leaf mould. We're going to have a leaf mulcher here as well, very easily, just by piling up loads of leaves in your garden and basically leaving them there. And it's excellent to use in your potting compost and as a mulch.
That's a lot of mulch.
Yeah. And keep them nice and snug.
Oh, look.
They're in here. These little pods. Oh.
Putting back nutrients back in again.
And preventing weeds from growing.
It covers it up.
Yeah. Nutrients, and it adds texture to the soil as well. That's just as important.
Thanks a million.
Thank you, Roisin.
Yeah. I'd love some feedback as well about the workshop if you have anything.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the workshop, run by Roisin. Lovely, lovely girl. Fantastic place. I can't get over the place. I'll have to come back here for a wander, definitely. This is open to the public, Myros house, and apparently there are some lovely walks around it. And then we'll have to come back to check on our little cuttings of elder. And the workshop was completely free, run by CCAS, and we only were maybe 6 or 7 people, but it's great to support this kind of venture and really get them going. I feel like she could have charged really for the workshop because it was really good, and I feel maybe a lot of people didn't come because maybe they thought it was free, and I don't know, but it is a beautiful, beautiful area here, and they're just really trying to get it going. They have a lease on the grounds, I think, for 5 years, and they're really just trying to get it going. They've done a lot of clearing of the grounds. If you look here now, you should be able to see the estuary on my right. And the woodland is just a massive mature woodland. But they do have one of the chaps here who is helps out with the woodland. They do have a massive problem with laurel and rhododendron, and so it's a lot of the upkeep is trying to keep that at bay from taking up the space for the native woodland. Good dog walking country. Everybody is out with their doggies. To be sure, Rooney would have loved to have come down here. And I might stop here at the top and just give a little if I can. Looking back down the estuary here at Lep. So So this great big elder is my primary focus today, and I just brought you up just to show you the amount of ivy damage. Now, I understand that ivy is good in a lot of ways for habitat and that, but this is just strangling the tree, literally strangling the tree. And what's interesting is when you start to pull back off, this is all covered in ivy. Here, look, all these little buds trying to pop out, trying to come out, and they were just strangled by the ivy. So if I can just free up a little bit, then I think we'll be looking better all around. So finally we're starting to see a tree underneath this big coat of ivy, which I'm trying to get rid of. But once you take it off, the amount of little buds coming through, so I'm hoping by chopping it I'm going to bring the growth back to here and that it'll bush out of the side shoots. The whole tree is really not looking good. Look at that for a hole, and that hole actually comes out at the other side. There's actually light at the end of it, so the trunk is hollow, so it's not a good sign. But if we can just give it a few more years, and I feel now by topping it and by cutting all of these big ivies off around the trunk, I have saved it some bit, or at least given it a little bit of a facelift for this spring. So we'll see what happens. I was hoping to get all of the trees done. This was my priority though, this one with all the ivy, and it's just a mammoth task even just to do this. We've been at this one all morning, so I will do the other ones hopefully soon, but at the moment we're going to work, just be happy that this one is done and we can focus on the other ones in time. So this tree is looking much better, and this one, it's difficult to see because there's a little section here in the middle that Rob needs to come back with his chainsaw and take out. The cat is absolutely loving this, thinking that there's lots to explore. Aren't you? Yes. Come on. Yes. And you're helping. I like to think you're helping. So from the offcuts, there was quite a lot taken out, as you can see here, and from this I have taken some cuttings, and as per Roisin's instructions from the CCAS course, I'm going to pot them up. So I've taken a few cuttings. Here they are in a nice bucket of water, and I'm going to, this one that's falling out, I will show you. So I'm going to chop the end nearest the buds, just under 2 buds there, like Roisin told us, and then I'm going to chop at the top also, just above 2 buds, probably here, taking off anything above. And I'm going to put them in my pots here, and whatever I have left over I might chance in the ground, or I might pop into a big pot here. I'll get some more compost. So I've already just cut the bottom at an angle, and we actually take the buds off to promote growth, and then I'm going to do the same at the top. And we're going to put that in there. Take another one. bottom and again at the top. Let's see if we can get 2 for a pot. And the pots have compost mixed with sand. The sand really just for a bit of drainage. Now, I'm going to put these somewhere where it's sunny and but at the same time keep an eye on them, keep them watered. I give the compost now that I gave them was quite wet to start with, and we'll see what happens. I've got some much larger ones here. I'm thinking of just trying those in the ground. So we might go out and just very quickly put those into the ground. So I've planted the remaining 6 cuttings, slightly larger ones, just here. They're in the same field as the original elder that the cuttings have been taken from, next to the beehive. Now they might be moved. I just want to see if they'll take, and then we'll make a decision as to whether they'll actually remain here or not. Obviously are close together, so but they can be moved on once they start to take, maybe this time next year. Just put some, I had some sawdust from all the cutting we've been doing, so I've just mulched them with that for now, just to kind of settle them in. We'll see how we go. And then my other 4 pots are here at the front of the house. Just, I've left them, they're sheltered, they'll get a bit of winter sun, and again we'll see what happens with those and whether they take. It's all very exciting. My neighbour has already been down to see if she can take some of them already, so it's great. And there are a huge amount of leftovers here if I decide to do any more cuttings from the leftover branches. So I hope that you've really enjoyed this episode all about the elder tree. I've really enjoyed doing it, and of course attending the CCAS course just came at the right time, because it was time that I did something and properly looked after these trees. So thanks again for watching as always, and if you take anything away from this or you have a bit of knowledge about elder that I don't know, let me know, because I just think it's fascinating to know about a native tree, or to learn about a native tree that is just so beautiful and so easy to grow. We're at the end of the video, and I've just, like, there is way more to do than what I have started with, but I'm glad that we started and started to get things a little bit under control. But I just want to say a big thank you to Roisin at CCAS, and you can log on to the CCAS website if you're interested in any of the courses that they do there. They have a beautiful, a fantastic facility, great space, and just in such a beautiful area, and all sorts of things going on, so definitely check them out. I'll put a link in the description anyway, and we'll see you next week. Slán go fóill.